In this video, I want to share with you 5 secrets of the most successful entrepreneurs. Stick with me, let's dive in. Hey guys, what's going on? Yuri here from Healthpreneur. Hope you're having a great day. And in this video, I want to walk you through, as I just mentioned, 5 secrets of the most successful entrepreneurs. And the reason I have any authority in sharing this is because I would consider myself to be one of them, and I've surrounded myself with, I'd say, at least hundreds of others over the span of 20 years in business. And what's interesting about success is that it's not just applicable to entrepreneurship. What I'm about to share with you is applicable in any aspect of life. So whether we're talking about physique transformation, athletics, business, all of this is very similar. The thing I want you to remember is that success is learnable. And if you model what other people do that are successful, you can achieve success as well. So the 5 things I'm going to share with you in this video, I'd like you to write them down. I think they're going to make a huge difference in your life and your business if you actually apply them. At the end of this video and in the description below, I'd encourage you to watch some of our other videos on success mindset. Make a huge difference for the outcomes you get in your life. So if you're here, you might be on the struggle bus right now. You might be on the struggle bus of you're trying a bunch of stuff, nothing's working out. Maybe you're like me when I first started my business in 2006. I spent 3 years, poverty line income, trying to do everything myself, trying to figure things out. And it was a really, really challenging time. So listen, I understand if you're there, and if you're here, I commend you for actually searching for this type of content, because it tells me a lot about who you are and what you aspire to. So congratulations on that. Thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. The reality is that, most people in life don't achieve success, right? Whatever success means, I think we all know that success is, it's not just money. It's different aspects of life. And I think when we think of successful people, we generally think of a few people that come to mind, but for the most part, percentage-wise, most people don't achieve the level of success that they say they want. And there's a number of reasons for that. But by applying the secrets I'm about to show you, you have a better chance of becoming one of the select few who has the income that you desire, the freedom that you desire, the impact that you want, the lifestyle that you want. So without any further ado, let's dive in, shall we? So, first thing is that successful people believe in themselves. There's, I think if you watch sports, I love tennis, I love soccer, I love, Formula One, I love high performance, right? So not just in business, but in any aspect of life, when you see the best of the best of the best, there's a very, very, very strong belief in self. And that's something that's really important. It's something that I call delusional optimism. It's kind of a little bit different, but it's very similar. Delusional optimism basically means having this kind of delusion that everything is going to work out for you. And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if that's genetic or nurtured. It doesn't really matter, but it can be trained. And I think that one of the easiest ways to develop that is to look back at previous experience. Because confidence is something that we all want, but confidence comes from experience. There's actually a very simple 4-step framework that leads to confidence that anyone can develop, but you have to be aware of it. I learned this from one of my mentors and coaches, Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach. The 4 C's, that's what this is. The first C is commitment. So the commitment to being great at something. The second C is courage. Courage is the ability to walk the fire and get very uncomfortable for however long you need to get to the next C, which is capability, which is really the know-how, the skill of being able to do what it is you want to do. And the final C, the final piece in that 4 steps is confidence. Confidence doesn't start the whole process. It's the last piece of it. So how does somebody develop self-confidence and self-belief? Well, I think one of the most important things you can do is on a daily basis is you have to focus on the wins. You have to focus on what went well today. You have to focus on what went well yesterday. You have to remember the times in your life where things worked out for you. because there were probably many, many more times where things didn't work out for you. And I believe that the difference between those who have self-confidence and those who don't is that those who have less of it, let's say, maybe they focus a little bit more on the stuff that didn't work out and they internalize it. There's something wrong with me, etc. And I don't think that serves you. So having a really important belief in yourself is that, like, really, that's one of the most important criteria, like probably the most important criteria I look for when we are interviewing clients to work with us. Notice how I said interviewing. We don't chase people. We're amazing at what we do. We interview people, as should you if you're a coach. So belief is important. Quick story for you. One of our clients, Kevin, started working with us at the beginning of 2020, just when the pandemic hit. He was making $800 a month as a health coach. And I told him, I'm like, hey, dude, I think you're a little bit early here. And he said to me, no, watch me. And that response told me everything I needed to know, because within 12 months, he was doing $100,000 a month in his business. And that's what confidence can do for you in your business and your life. It is absolutely critical. It's everything, because confidence and self-belief allows you to overcome all the challenges. It allows you to keep going when the going gets tough, because you have this deep-seated knowing that you have it within you to figure things out. It's huge. So that is the first secret. Second secret is you have to commit first and figure out the rest later. The most successful people I know are not those who deliberate and think about things forever. If you talk to a lot of successful people, here's what this is going to sound like. It just felt right. I listened to my gut and I did it. And that might sound like a really naive way of, let's say, jumping into something. But here's the thing. This goes back to the first point. Is successful people believe in themselves so they can follow their own instincts. Someone who doesn't believe in themselves, obviously they're going to deliberate forever. They're going to wait for their ducks to be in a row, for everything to be perfect, because they don't believe that they have what it takes until everything is perfect, which, by the way, never happens until they get started. And so what happens is those who struggle, who stay on the struggle bus, wait forever for things to get perfectly lined up. And guess what? It never happens, as I just said. If you're waiting for your ducks to get in a row, guess what? They're not going to be there when you're ready to go. It just doesn't happen. So I mentioned for 3 years, in my first 3 years in business online, I struggled, like poverty line income for 3 years. And in 2010, I hired my first coach. And it was more money to hire that coach than I had made in the previous year in business. Just to give you some context. And again, I'm not making a ton of money at this point. I could have said, well, this sounds amazing, but I'll wait until I have more money and all my ducks are in a row. Let me figure this out first, then I'll hire you. That's like going to a trainer and saying, let me get in shape first, and then I'll work with you. It doesn't work like that. It's delusional, right? That's why losers lose, and that's why winners win. Winners say, I'm going to commit first. I'm going to figure this out as I go. So in the case of me hiring that coach, I invested a tremendous amount of money for me at the time. And I remember the one thing in my mind at the time, like I felt that pit in my stomach. And I was like, oh my God. But in the back of my mind was like, dude, you are going to effing figure this out, because now you're committed, you're invested, and you're going to make this happen. And I always knew I was. And that was the catalyst that led, that was the inflection point in my business. And from that point on, we went to, build a huge empire. And I wouldn't have done it without that belief in myself and the ability to commit first. And I'm not a special snowflake, okay? Like, I understand everyone has a different decision-making process, but I promise you, you will not figure things out until you are committed. I promise you that, okay? I promise you. So that's the second thing. Commit first, figure out the rest later. The third thing here is the third secret really is that successful people surround themselves with other successful people. In fact, they surround themselves with people who are playing life at a higher level, playing business at a higher level. If there's one thing, it would be tough to boil things down to one thing. But if there was one thing that I think can make the biggest difference in your life and in your business if you're an entrepreneur, is to surround yourself with very, very successful people. whatever success means, right? So if you're making no money, you're surrounding yourself with people who are making more money. If like for me, if I love playing tennis, I'm much better off surrounding myself and playing against players who are better than me than playing against my kids who can barely hit the ball over the net, right? Because it forces us to get better. And this taps into the primitive wiring we all have, which is the need to belong. We are tribal beings, right? We are tribal beings. And historically, if we didn't fit into the tribe, well, we'd be kicked out, right? So when we surround ourselves with a better group of people, it forces us to raise our game just so we are accepted, if you will, into the group. And so it's positive peer pressure that can really force you in a positive way to level up and be better and continually grow. Super important, super important, because part of it too is when you surround yourself with a group of people who are playing at a higher level, you can borrow their beliefs. You can say, I don't know how to do this, or I don't know if this is possible. They're going to tell you it's possible. Just kind of, fly in my wake, if you will, right? Slipstream my car. Get behind me, borrow my belief, because I've done this before. And borrowing belief is important. In fact, a number of years ago, I was at a mastermind with a number of friends. And I had a friend at the time who's relatively new in the online health space, but published author, did the whole speaking circuit, never really built his business to where he wanted to go, came online to pursue, the life he wanted to live. And at first, he had no clue what he was doing, like none of us do, right? But he was sitting at this mastermind with us, and we have a mutual friend. And so we're all kind of sitting at this long table. And I remember I'm sitting across the table from him, okay? He leans back in his chair. So he's leaning back in his chair. And beside him is one of our friends who does a lot of money. So he was doing at the time 8 figures a year from one ebook. And so my buddy leans back in his chair and he does a little stretch, and he just happened to peek at our friend's computer. And our friend was looking at his stats while he was leaning back. And he literally almost fell off his chair because what he saw on that screen completely baffled his belief set, his belief system. Here's a guy who is a friend of ours, right? So newbie, experienced guy sitting beside him. Newbie is like, we hang out together. We're kind of the same type of person. I'm not doing very much in my business. And all of a sudden he sees the guy right beside him, one of his good friends, 20,000 a day, 25,000 a day, 35,000 a day revenue. Just like, he's like, holy shit, like what is going on here? And immediately it completely changed his belief system. So fast forward 2 years, this friend, the kind of newbie at the time, was now doing more than $15 million per year in his health business online. Now, I'm not saying it's because he saw that screen, but that's what happens when you surround yourself with people playing at a bigger level, is that it shows you what's possible. And if he didn't think it was possible before that, I promise you his thought pattern was a little bit different after that mastermind. So get around great people. Buy into a mastermind. I've always considered masterminds since 2010 to the present. I've invested probably $750,000 in masterminds and coaching. The way I see it is I'm paying for better friends. So that's the third thing. Number 4 is successful entrepreneurs are tremendous givers. They are some of the most abundant-minded, generous people you will ever meet. And it's funny because some people have an issue with people who make money, saying they're greedy, they make money at the expense of others. Guess what? If you're surrounded by people like that, you got to remove those people like a cancer, because that's what they are. They're going to pollute your mindset and they're going to hold you back every single time. Successful people don't achieve great success by taking advantage of other people. There might be the occasional person who does that, but for the most part, if you believe that, you will never be successful because you will never become something you despise. You should celebrate success. And you got to surround yourself with people who are great examples of that. So again, some of the most successful people I know, 8, 9-figure business owners, some of the most generous people, they give away all of their best stuff for free, whether it's on YouTube or in the form of content, or even in how they approach their friendships. Here's all my best stuff. Go for it. Aren't you scared of someone taking that and running? You can't be. Right? Actually, one of my mastermind clients was, as he's building his team, he's like, well, if I were to hire another doctor, another practitioner in our practice, and I show them all my systems and stuff, what if they took it and run? I'm like, who cares? Let them. Good luck trying to build a business like you've built. But if you come from a place of abundance and share freely, you're more likely going to help people, and it's going to come back to you. Maybe not from that person directly, but it's going to come back to you somehow. Life is a boomerang. What you put out is what you get right back. So that's the fourth thing, is just being a tremendous giver. Don't worry about people taking advantage of you. Don't think about scarcity. There's more than enough for everyone. And if you fundamentally believe that, you'll see it show up in your life. If you fundamentally believe that the world is scarce, you'll see that as well. The fifth secret of successful entrepreneurs is that they love the game and they want to continue playing it. Business is a game. If you've read Simon Sinek's book, The Infinite Game, this will make sense. If you haven't, read the book. If not, just listen to what I'm saying here. Business is a game. There's no finish line. Okay. It's not a marathon that has a finish line. It's a marathon that never ends. And the most successful entrepreneurs do this because they love the game. They love running the marathon, knowing full well it's never going to end. Now, here's the big distinction. The most successful people that I know never want to retire. Never. Retirement, the definition of retirement is to take out of service, is basically to render useless. So just think of, why would you retire? Why would you make yourself useless in life? You want to retire and play golf all day? Like, come on. Seriously, that's not what successful entrepreneurs do, because entrepreneurs who are growth oriented seek to grow, and the more they grow, the more they want to give back. So the idea here is understanding that business is a game that you can learn and get better at. It's not something you win, it's something you can master, but it never ends. And if you're okay with that, it's really exciting, because what happens is it almost becomes like a video game. It's like Mario. Okay, and back in the day, I played enough video games for 2 lifetimes. So you get like Mario level 1, you beat Bowser, you get to level 2, you develop some new skills, get some new tools, go to level 3, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's the same thing in business, and it's the same thing in life. It doesn't get easier, you just get better. And if you like that, business is the most unbelievable playgrounds you could ever ask for, because it continually challenges you. The problems never go away, they only get bigger, but it's all relative, because you get bigger and better as well. And if you're looking for the payout, if you're looking to do this to make a certain amount of money, first and foremost, if you're in business to make money, you're not going to succeed. Okay. You have to be in business because you fundamentally love being in business. It doesn't mean you have to do all the day-to-day stuff, but it means you have to love what you're doing in some way, shape, or form. Like, if I won $100 million tomorrow in the lottery, I would change nothing in my life. Nothing would change. I would still do what I do. I'd still get on calls with my clients. I'd still work with my team. Like, I love what I do, right? Now, what I do is going to evolve over obviously my lifetime, but I never want to retire. Yeah, I'm going to take a vacation. I'm going to hang out on the beach for a little bit and play some tennis, but I do that anyways, right? I don't need to retire to enjoy life. So understanding that business is a game, it's a game that you can continually get better at. You can up-level your skills, beat the bad guy, go to the next level. And it's fun because if you're growth-oriented, then that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for the exits. Even if you sold your company, even if you got bought out, whatever, you'd probably want the next thing. Because the only thing worse than reaching the pinnacle of the mountain is not setting a goal to reach the next one. Because the only direction, when you reach the peak of the mountain, there's only one way to go. And it's down. So the only thing worse than reaching the top is not setting the goal for the next one. So those are the 5 secrets of successful entrepreneurs. We talked about believing in yourself, right? Number 2 is commit first and figure out the rest later. Number 3 is surround yourself with really successful people. You'll borrow their beliefs. You'll be by osmosis better. Number 4 is becoming a tremendous giver, being abundant oriented. Don't worry about scarcity. And number 5 is play the game, and play it not to win, but to keep playing the game, because there's no finish line. Cool? If you like this, give it a thumbs up, share with a friend or a colleague or entrepreneur or whatever. And I've got tons of other amazing videos on success mindset. So below this video in the description, I've got a couple links. Check out some of our other videos to help you build and really develop a mindset that will set you up for massive success. So do that now. Watch the next video in the series, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks so much.